So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game House. I have said multiple times that gaming brings hope to people who might not normally have it. Some people, gaming is all they have. Gaming is what gets them up in the morning, and gaming brings us together under the common banner that we have for various games. And you can play Halo and you can be friends with somebody who plays Street Fighter, and you have that common bond because those games have common experiences, and we can all relate. And it's a great way to bring us together as a culture in this time that is very tribal in nature. People are pretty angry about a lot of things, but we have gaming that, while there are specific tribes in gaming, you have your shooters, you have your fighters, you have your strategy games, we all still unite under the banner of being gamers, and gaming brings hope. And I'm fortunate enough today to talk to some guys who use gaming the way that it should be. I have the guys from the Dreamscape Foundation. Their goal is they work on using technology to help people with accessibility issues and provide hope to as many people as possible. I found them because a streamer that I follow was doing a charity stream, Miss Sunshine. I've done pieces about her before. I consider her a friend, and I ran into her, and she was doing a charity stream for the Dreamscape Foundation, and I have the guys with me here. They're going to introduce themselves when we're going to go into the kind of the background of the Dreamscape Foundation. We're going to talk about the charity streams that they've done so far and their plans going forward. So guys, go ahead.
Sure. Hey, my name is Chris Gersh. I help with the Dreamscape Foundation. I volunteer / work for them, and I help with the social media, the blog, the website, etc. I kind of do a lot of everything around here. I love what I do, and I also love video games, so this is a perfect match for us.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Joseph Sawani. I'm the founder of Dreamscape Foundation. I founded the organization when I was 16 years old, when I lost my eyesight. From 16 to about 18, I was legally blind with a walking cane, and 18 moving on, I actually got a lot of my eyesight back, but not everyone is that lucky. So I started focusing on my nonprofit geared towards accessibility, just because technology was there for me during my hardship and during my time in need, and it made me feel a lot more independent and a lot more on my own than I would have been without it. So technology is great. It really pushes us forward, and I think accessibility is definitely the future.
Awesome. All right, and I like that you're talking about the technology aspect. Technology aspect of this is Nick still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Nick, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Intro. Oh, sorry about that. I just had to step away for a minute.
That's all right.
What exactly is the intro? Just kind of how I came about and got into everything here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I actually had met Joe back in college, and I got to know him pretty well and became good friends. And then I started kind of get to see a little bit of his charity and what he was doing there. And little by little, I started seeing the benefit of it. I started to get involved, and I just kind of loved it. I liked helping him out, and I liked the cause it was supporting. So ever since then, I was kind of just hooked on it, and I was always willing to help out and do whatever needed to be done.
Very nice. So, and I like the fact that you guys use technology for accessibility. And it's funny because when people talk about gaming a lot of people see it in a competitive sense, not realizing there are people out there. And the best example that I can think of, there are people out there who they've capitalized on the technology aspect and turned themselves into pretty popular and strong gamers. The best example that I can think of is there's a guy who's a quadriplegic. He plays Apex Legends and PUBG. His name is Rocky No Hands. Rocky No Hands plays BR games with his mouth. And if you watch him on stream, that's pretty freaking awesome. He's pretty darn good. Yeah, that's just amazing to me. And then so to take it outside of gaming for just a moment, there's a band, my personal favorite band. My band, they have a drummer with one arm, and if you're trying to ponder who that is, so his name is Rick Hallen, and he's played drums for Def Leppard, and he has one arm. He plays uses both of his feet to play the rest of the drums, and it's amazing to see what technology can do. It's amazing to see how people overcome their own limitations through technology. And I honestly, Joe, I didn't know, before we started this interview, I did not know that you had lost your eyesight. So the fact that you got it, the fact that you used the technology available at the time to get it back is an awesome story. So sort of talk about what you guys have done recently to sort of to talk about how you use your reach to help people out. I know that the recent charity stream by Miss Sunshine raised over $1,900, and so sort of explain what that's all about.
Yeah, sure. So, to answer your first question, Bill, as far as technology and myself and like how I used it, technology has been helpful for me just because I feel that at the time. So just so you know, it's kind of funny that Chris and Nick are on the phone with me. Other than the fact that they work with me, but they both met me at different times of my eyesight. So Chris met me in the beginning when I was just losing my eyesight and kind of had the cane and everything, and Nick met me in the later half when I was when my eyes were kind of getting better and I was really kind of used to all the tools and everything I was using. So technology and what I've been using was like magnifiers, JAWS. These are just kind of tools to kind of help propel me in my day-to-day life and work and school. So that really kind of helped me get on track. So accessibility is kind of key to, I think, a lot of people with disabilities, just because it gives them the ability to be independent on their own. I think one of the toughest things with having some sort of disability is the reliance factor on someone to kind of help you on certain things. And it's always nice to be able to feel like you can kind of take charge and do your own thing. So this event actually with Miss Sunshine was for a lady that I met a while ago. Her name was Anita, and Anita actually reached out to me when the organization was a little smaller, when I was in college. And I did my best that I can do for help, just a little fundraiser here and there. And kind of posted her up on social media and stuff back in the day. And she reached out again because I guess she was still raising money for something else now, so just to see if we can need help. And she was just trying to get into an accessibility van for herself. So I think accessibility kind of comes in all different shapes and sizes, but the common goal is the same, is that somebody wants to feel independent. Somebody wants to feel they can do things on their own. So that's kind of our goal through the organizations. Although we kind of focus on sensory impairments and people who are blind or deaf or have cognitive disabilities, overall we recognize that accessibility comes in different forms. So and it needed to just fit that category.
Perfect. Okay, so you had the two streams. There was one on the 4th. There was one on the 5th of April. I see that you're also doing one coming up on the 20th. I believe it's the. Excuse me. I believe it's the Game Docs are doing one on the 20th as well.
Yep. Yeah, the one on the 4th and the one on the 5th. The 5th was the Sunshine. The 4th was with Sunset, and then on the 20th is with the Game Docs. So the Game Docs were actually a couple of friends of mine in college, so they're they're going to be helping us out too, and that's actually another cause. That's actually for a girl named Audrey, and she is part of the YMCA Hannibal chapter. So we did an event for her back in November, December timeframe. She approached us because, well, actually, the YMCA approached us because she just needed some funding for some personal training. She's in a wheelchair. She also has no eyesight, so
Wow.
she needs help with personal training and everything. So they reached out to us to see if we could fund her. So now that those kind of trainings and stuff are expired, they want to do it again at a little bit of a bigger scale. So we said, sure, we can gear an event around this and everything. So streaming for us has been kind of helpful because I would say personally that it's an avenue that works. We've tried it. We've probably done, with Nick and Chris on board alone, they've probably seen like a dozen streams at this point. Chris more, Nick has seen maybe a little less than half. He's been on not as long with us, but yeah, we've kind of tried everything, and I think we're kind of getting down to a formula that works for all of us. Like the one on the 4th with Sunset, it was good in the fact that he committed and kind of got on with it. Didn't raise as much as we would have liked, but I think that's just the different people draw a different audience, and that audience just requires a different level of energy if you want them to be engaged and donating and so forth.
Right. Okay. So it's what it seems like to me is that you took your own story, I guess you took your own struggle, your own setbacks, and you've now turned it into something where you are definitely serving other people, and you're giving them the opportunities that you had as well. What is that like for you? I mean, you have your own kids, you have your own story. So what? I mean, it seems doing this can be very draining emotionally. Being somebody who always helps other people, and I'm sure you get requests all the time. How do you, as an individual, as a father, as somebody who struggled with your own issues, how do you keep on going? Because the world is a pretty what am I trying to say? The world's a pretty dark place, and you're giving hope as much as you can. But how does that work for you personally?
Sure. No, good question. So it's as a non-profit, I would say the biggest struggle a lot of the time is talking and dealing with people that you cannot help. Not
Right.
because you don't want to, but just because it doesn't fit the mission and it doesn't fit what you're all about. And that sometimes is tough, just because we have the phone in our office, and it rings sometimes off the hook, and there's periods where I'm on the phone talking to people and they're asking me things that I know that we're not going to be able to do. But I sometimes I'll still take the time to talk to them and be like, hey, listen, where are you? What area are you in? And I'll try to give them a phone number of another organization that could possibly help. But it is kind of sometimes it's discouraging too, because you don't want to, disappoint people and let them down in that sense. I mean, that's one. I'd also say that sometimes the people receiving stuff is pretty it's kind of thankless at points. I was dealing with it was actually a week or two ago. We were working with an individual who happened to be disabled, and they were calling a handful of times, and they were trying to get some mortgage payments for their home, and that's not something we typically do. But they called, a handful of times, emailed us a lot, and I'm like, look, I have to reach out to this person just because they're providing all their proper documentation. They're following all the right formalities that I'm asking for, so I'm not going to leave them hanging. So I spoke with them. I said, hey, look, this is the best I can do, and something that I don't to do, but I can help you out. So they would say thank you and whatnot, and then when I called them back, I sent them over a check for a portion of what they needed. Their main response was something along the lines of, well, I was expecting more.
Wow.
Now my phone died. I thought my phone just died. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So I was kind of like, oh wow, I just try to help you guys out. But I would definitely say, to kind of get to the point of your question of how it gets all handled and juggled, I would very carefully and strategically. I have to, for me and myself, and kind of just dealing with, working with a nonprofit. It's tough sometimes because, unlike a business, when you're dealing with a charity, the money that you're receiving goes out. That $1,900 that we got from Miss Sunshine, it comes into the nonprofit. We use a portion of it for some of the prizes and stuff that we promised donors, and then we also use a portion of it that gets hit with processing fees, and then the remaining of it will go to Anita. But that money doesn't just kind of sit in the charity for when we need it. So it's a constant stride for finding new ways to raise funds, and a constant stride of finding new connections that will be helpful. And although it could be exhausting and tough, I think I can kind of speak for us that when things are working and when things are working out, it is pretty rewarding. And then when things, naturally kind of fold and collapse in on themselves, it's kind of frustrating, and I think it's kind of funny because you can kind of see them back to back with we had the event with on the 4th and the 5th, and the event on the 5th was a huge success, and then the event on the 4th, not so much. And but that Chris, who's on the line with us, he put equal amount of effort and work into all the marketing collateral into both. So it's bittersweet because you go, oh wow, this one was awesome, but I feel like you almost wasted your effort into the other one. But I think when things work out and when things are good for the best of us, I think that's when it doesn't matter if things are quote unquote dark.
Right.
We're doing good.
Right. I mean, you guys are struggling against a gigantic monster, and and constantly having to keep pushing forward in times where you can see it's not going to be exactly what you hoped, or you can't help certain people, but you can only do what you can do. You set your company vision, you set your goals, and some people reach out to you in desperation. Some people aren't very grateful for the help. So I believe me, I can appreciate the struggle because you're dealing with things that are that they alter people's lives on a fundamental level. Not being able to walk is a big deal because there's a lot of things you cannot do that you want to do. So I mean, you guys are. This is a really awesome story. I'm grateful for your foundation, for the fact that I found you, because it just proves to me once again that gaming is the banner that can unite us and bring us together. We argue about a lot of things in life. We have a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and we can all come together under gaming and say we can help these people. We can be helpful in this situation with our time. And I don't think that people really understand. I mean, if you give $5, okay, great. You gave $5. It might not be as large as someone else's donation, but you give what you give, and some people can give more, some people can give less. The fact that you took the time to even notice is a huge deal, and I'm grateful for you guys. So sort of talk about what you have plans going forward. I mean, you have the stream on the 20th of this month, which is great. So sort of talk about the next, I guess, 4 months, 6 months to 8 months out.
Sure. So the stream on the 20th is going to be for Audrey from the Hannibal YMCA. So that event, it will specifically be focused on that event will be specifically focused on raising some funds for her and her training, so more on her on an individual level. We're also on to, I know that they were talking to us about kind of funding like some sort of accessibility kind of program around that, which is kind of interesting. So we're in the talks with them in regards to that too. My personal goal in the next 3 to 4 months would be to we relocated down here about 2 years ago now from Jersey, and I was in connection with a lot of the school systems up north, and then when I moved down here, a lot of the services that I was keen to supporting, they didn't really need them here. So I think my next kind of steps and goals as an advisor would definitely be focusing on getting the team to reach out to more disabled schools here in Florida that need funding, that need support, and kind of get involved that way. Just because it amazes me like the drastic difference of changes just per state. And hey, streaming and everything is streaming and all helps us just kind of raise funds for that. And that whole situation dated back I want to say from like 2013 or so, when we kind of started to do our own charity channel, where we wanted to put together something that was dedicated, a Twitch channel dedicated to the Dreamscape Foundation, and we even got partnered and all. But I would say that the workload, and I have a lot of respect for streamers and everything in that regard, the effort to kind of get that started and the effort to really push that was a lot. And as you said before, hey, we're dealing with a monster in a sense of people, of issues kind of coming our way all the time as a nonprofit. So our efforts kind of shifted, and we started prioritizing charity streams over kind of promoting a channel. So, but I would definitely say I haven't fell off of the quote unquote game wagon from recognizing that this is a good outlet to raise funds on demand. just because it immediately connects us with somebody's audience,
Right.
and we can back a story with it. I mean, we've learned a lot just through the streamers we worked with. We learned what kind of streamers work. We learned what kind of streamers don't work. We learned which messages and stories work, which ones don't work, and I feel that people, whenever I have someone reach out who's willing to talk to us and willing to share their story and who's willing to tell us what they need help with, that makes our lives a little easier, because for somebody donating on that other side, like as you said, Bill, as somebody donating that $5 or so on the other side to the organization, they know it's on behalf of Anita, it's on behalf of Audrey, it's not nameless, it's not just, oh, I gave to charity.
Right.
So, and I think that was even a problem that we kind of struggled with early on in a handful of our charity streams, because I felt that it was good that people were donating, but they didn't know what they were donating to, so, which can only go so far. So I think in moving on into the future with future events, and the reason why I say that is because I think we kind of found a good system of how we want to promote our events and how we want to promote our fundraisers using video games. And I think that it's working out for us pretty well so far.
Very nice. Very nice. So guys, thank you very much for making time for me today. I know that you're extremely busy. You're on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so this is like a huge time difference thing for for me sometimes. But thank you very much, guys, for making time for me. Everybody coming up, you can follow them, Dreamscape FDN on Twitter, at Dreamscape FDN on Twitter. Check out their site, the Dreamscape Foundation. Dreamscapefoundation.org. That's the site that you want to go to find out all the information. We have the stream coming up with the game docs, April 20th. You heard that information on who it's for. Guys, thanks very much for making time for me. I appreciate all that you do. I appreciate the fact that this all came together actually pretty fast, which is surprising, because I know that sometimes dealing with nonprofits, you have to go through a lot when it comes to the paperwork and the formalities of the whole thing. So thank you very much for making it a time for me today, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for the promotion.
No problem.
We have to wish a happy birthday to Chris. It's his birthday.
Holy crap. Okay, so here it is, April the 11th. So, all right, so this is being recorded on April the 11th. So April the 11th is Chris's birthday. Let's all write that down.
Yeah, I turned 18 this morning.
18. Wow, that's amazing. In 3 days, I turned 47. So just kind of put that in, just to sort of put that in.
I just look 18.
I guess Nick and Chris, did you guys want to get a word in or a couple of words in before they close out the interview?
No, I mean, just besides the fact that, I've known Joe for a really long time in my life, and it's something that I don't see ever going away. I've seen Joe go through a lot when he was 16 and going through his LHON experience, and then seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and seeing that this kind of stuff can pass, and that there's something positive to always look forward to in life. But no, Joe has been a blessing in my life, and I'm sure that everyone that's been helping him out in the past few years has been a blessing to him. So this whole thing with Dreamscape has been such a great experience for me, as well as everyone that it's helping. So it's just really it's great to have this part in my life finally, like, be a positive reinforcement to a lot of things, not just to myself. So I guess that's the message I would say for everyone.
Awesome. All right, guys. Hey, thank you very much for making time for me today. And Joe, I see in the avatar of our conversation that you have your child right there. I just want you to know that I have a granddaughter and she's awesome. And believe me, you're an extremely fortunate guy to have small children. And the only reason that they are cute when they're little is so that when they turn into teenagers, punch them in the face. Just.
Yeah, no, you could ask yeah, I was gonna say, Bill, I was like, I'm surprised we didn't get into the conversation about games. I'll have to send you a picture of my when he was born. A couple of weeks into it, I got him like a little Sonic outfit because I love Sonic.
Very nice.
He dressed up as Sonic for like a couple.
That's the greatest thing.
Oh, dude, yeah, oh man, you should send that over, man. I'll put that in the
article.
Yeah, the article
All
that I read. Yeah, send that over. Sweet. Guys, thanks very much for making time. Everybody tune in to the Dreamscape Foundation here coming up April 20th. The Game Docs, at the Game Docs on Twitter. You will see them streaming for at least 8 hours. You've heard where all those donations will go. Thanks very much for tuning in to the Game Haus. Check out the Game Haus YouTube channel if you enjoy this interview and all the other content, all the other Overwatch and League of Legends stuff, as well as these interviews. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.